was given the pretty exciting opportunity to take a look and share my thoughts on Zhune's latest gimbal, the Cinepeer Weebill 3E. I do a lot of real estate content, so a new, lightweight, compact gimbal is right up my alley. So let's just dig into this. Let's take a look at some of the accessories. Got ourselves some cables. Little tripod to keep your gimbal up straight when you're not truly using it. And the base plate for your camera. Last but certainly not least, the Cinepeer Weebill 3E. Look at this thing. I like the design, kind of like a light gray handle, pretty lightweight, much lighter than my my Ronin S. And so before we continue, I'll also mention that they sent this to me, and quite frankly, this is the first time I've been sent anything in my entire life, so I don't 100% know the rules. They're not paying me for this. So I just wanted to quickly show you how to set this gimbal up. What you're gonna want to do first is just attach the little tripod legs to the bottom of the gimbal itself. You may notice that you can't move the gimbal at all, so you're gonna wanna unlock each axis. So there's gonna be 3 locks on the gimbal. And to be honest, I've never had a gimbal with locks before, since again, I've only had one gimbal ever, and that was before they started doing the locks. So this is very nice. Should be kind of flimsy and loose like this. So next we're gonna take the base plate, toss it on your camera. So when you get it, it comes with just one screw in the bottom, and I will recommend that you buy another screw. If you have a cage, it's always good to have the 2 screw holes for extra support so the camera doesn't start rotating and loosening. Base plate is securely on. Again, the size of this thing is just so small. Let's just show you the difference between this size and my Ronin S. Absolutely absurd. Like, it is half the size of the Ronin S. So you have the quick release plate leveling base here, and it just kind of like slides in and out. And we're gonna just simply slide the camera onto the plate, and you'll know you're in securely when you hear that satisfying click sound. Awesome. So now you're gonna wanna manually stabilize the camera. But before we do that, we are going to plug in this USB-C cable, the control cable, into the camera. Because any sort of weight, even if it's just a tiny cable, can make a little bit of a difference. It doesn't have to be perfect, as good as possible. And this isn't too bad. I think we are ready to turn it on. Now the question is, does it have juice out of the box? Ah, voila. It does. Very nice. So setting up the gimbal is super simple. At first it might be a little daunting, but once you do it once or twice, you get the hang of it. I still can't get over how tiny this thing is. It just feels like a toy. So the fun doesn't end there with setting it up. There's a whole other setup option for you, for you content creators out there. And that is, you can set this up vertically as well. So let's just do that. So you're gonna wanna just slide off this quick release plate leveling base. Now you're gonna tilt it vertically, and then you'll see that there is a little hand right here. This hand slides into this rail like that. Amazing. There. And we have it stabilized and ready for some vertical shooting. Okay, so we were set up horizontally again. And one feature that this gimbal has is that you're able to program a lot of these buttons here, and one of them you're able to program is this trigger. I have it set to PF mode, which is pan follow mode. So that's just your standard gimbal setup. This is what I always use for when it comes to real estate. But you also have, I'm gonna hit the trigger in the front here, and now it's gonna be switched over to just portrait mode. And so what that does is that it switches it over to a vertical mode. And then we could do our Instagram reel content like this. We have this wheel in the front. This essentially controls a part of your camera, and so right now I have controlled to manual focus. I can manually focus my camera. There is a tiny little screen here where you can control all your sort of menu items. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is the price of this gimbal. Not because it's too expensive and I want to hide that to the back end of the video, but because it is super cheap. It is gonna run you $249. Now, if you're Canadian like me, that is 341 Canadian dollars. I bought the Ronin S for $1,000 when that first came out, and I can't give it too much crap because this is the first generation of the Ronin S's, but this one being 250 bucks and does everything that the Ronin S does, and in my opinion, even better, well, I think that's a steal. So I'm just gonna mimic a day in the life of a quick real estate shoot demo. So something I will mention while setting up is that Zhiyun claims that the battery life on their gimbal is 16 hours. Now, I don't know if that's 16 hours of motor usage or 16 hours of just on time, but if it's anything like any other stabilizer, it's gonna last you quite a long time. And so now I'm gonna show you just a few motions that I use when I'm shooting my real estate videos. When I start off with a room, I like to get just an establishing shot of the entire room. I call this kind of like the fake crane shot. So I'm gonna have a pretty high up and I'm gonna kind of swoop it down. I like to call it like the reveal. I'm gonna use this wall here to reveal the entire living room. So I'm gonna start off nice and high, and then we're just gonna slowly make our way down, kind of like a crane, like this. And so while I'm moving, I'm also pushing the joystick upwards to then compensate for the motion downwards. So this is gonna be just another shot, and I call this kind of like the room hero shot. So the ease of use with this gimbal cannot be overstated. I simply just turn it over like this, and again, use a thumbstick to aim it up and push inwards, nice and slow, like that. Just how easy it is that the tilt axis is just so flexible. So we got all the shots horizontally. Let's do some quick vertical shots. And again, I'm limited for time. I can still take photos of the living room. I gotta do all this stuff. So I'm gonna quickly push my button from PF mode to portrait mode. And again, Instagram Reels, it doesn't have to be, the most cinematic shot, but if you wanna do some push-ins like this, while sort of panning the entire living room, you could do that. And everything just being on this stabilizer is so awesome. So we're just gonna do another quick shot like this, showing off the mantle. It's a little dark again, so we're gonna just up the brightness to 4000 ISO. I've never had convenience like this before. When it comes to stabilizers, I'm always doing everything manually. So this is just my day-to-day use with a gimbal. I don't do much in terms of sports. I do really slow movements and really nothing too crazy, but I don't see this being an issue if you were gonna do some fast motion type of work. I really feel like, you could run with this thing, no problem. It truly is sort of the quintessential run and gun gimbal. And again, just having the ease of access with the connection, the USB-C connection here, being able to easily just hit the record button and the camera's recording, pause it, all at the tip of your fingers is incredibly handy. And to that last part, I wanted to really put my money where my mouth was. So last night, I took the Weebill 3E to my ultimate Frisby game and created a little sequence. It was a 4v4 match. We were missing players, so I didn't really have much time to film. So I communicated with my team when I wanted to shoot things, and they were totally cool with it. So enjoy this little sequence. So finally, should you go out and buy this gimbal? Well, let's first ask the question, who is this gimbal even for? This gimbal is for the videographer, content creator, even budding filmmaker who just wants something simple to get a stable shot. Easy. Easy as that. And maybe you don't have a gimbal, or you have a gimbal that's like super out of date. Maybe it's too big, too cumbersome. Well, then I think that this is the one for you, because it's not cumbersome at all. It fits in a backpack. It is crazy. I'm able just to take it really anywhere. This will be my travel gimbal. I've always been so scared of bringing a gimbal or any sort of Steadicam rig to travel. Once again, don't go out and buy things you don't need. I don't care. However, if you do want to go out and buy the Cinepeer Weebill 3E, I will have an affiliate link below. So if you are going to buy it, feel free to buy it through there or wherever you want to. B&H, I don't care. I know this is a long-winded video, but I'd like to thank you all so much again for watching. I ramble a lot, but I appreciate you stopping by, watching the entire thing if you made it this far through. And, well, hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Bye now.